Good rising, brethren. This is Big Judah coming to you guys from California. Before I begin, give all praise to the Most High Yahweh. Acknowledgement to the earthly mother. Who is wisdom? Who is the Holy Spirit? Acknowledgement to Yahweh Shai. I pray the Most High blesses this lesson this evening, gives more knowledge and understanding of the events of the past in order to understand events that are currently happening on the earth, so we get a much better understanding of the things that are soon to come on the earth. I pray that the Most High gives us the direction that He wants us to go in this video, gives us the understanding that He wants me to share in this video. We're just going to get right into this book because, man, it's got some more information. Like I said, now that we don't have to worry about trying to appease Gentiles and trying to prove things to Gentiles, now the Most High is just unleashing more and more information every day. And like I said, and we know that, the year hasn't really changed yet, but it's just amazing the signs that the Most High is putting out there. Saw this post popped up earlier today talking about 666. People are like, oh, it can't be worse in 2021. Can't be worse in 2022. 2023 has got to be better. And then they got this post right here. It's pretty hilarious because, like I said, it's getting nothing but worse. Nothing but worse. Last night we saw an event that, we've never seen before. The young man fell out, cardiac arrest on the football field. It's messing with the Gentiles is fun. They're fun and games. Now they're being affected. Most of the time, guy gets hurt, they cart him off. He puts that thumb up on the way out, and then it's next man up, and they keep the games going. They keep it going. Last night they were like, okay, they finally got him off the field, and they said, okay, y'all got 5 minutes to get warmed up, and we're going to continue with the game. And a lot of the players are like, oh, hell nah. We're not going back out there. We're not playing. It just shows you that there is a switch that's going on. The Most High has always been in charge. But you other nations have had your blessings. So you've been able to use us. We would do anything for the money, anything for the prestige, to be able to play your games. And, we would look up to you, the owners, and we would look up to the coaches, and we would just, be step and fetch. Whatever it is y'all wanted, we just do it. And that's all starting to change. And you're going to have a hard time dealing with that because it's going to get nothing but worse. And it just shows you how the Most High is playing this game. He's in charge. He's showing you that he's the one. Everybody was looking forward to that game. It was such a huge game and a huge matchup, and everyone was looking forward to it. And the Most High put an end to it real quick. And really, like I said, that's society right now. Many people have many plans. Many people have had many plans, and they thought this world was going to continue. And things are always going to, because that's how it's been before. Things have always went back to status quo. But now the Most High is showing you that that's not the case. That is not the case. You've been able to ignore, the things that we've gone through. You've been able to ignore our breakdowns of the scriptures. You've been able to ignore, what the Most High has given us as a people as far as understanding. But you're not going to be able to do that anymore. As you see, your pastors and your priests are very quiet. They have nothing to say. I'm sitting here listening to all these people talk about you're in our thoughts and prayers. We all need to come together. We need to pray. We need to pray. I'm like, man, when's the last time y'all been praying about anything? Y'all pray when it's convenient. Y'all pray when a tough situation, rears its ugly head. But do you pray just to thank the Most High, or do you only pray when you're in an adverse situation? Do you pray because you thank the Most High for the blessings that He's given you? Have you blessed David? Do you thank the Most High when you're going through tribulations? Do you thank the Most High for knowledge and understanding? Or do you only think about the Most High or your God when things get rough? See, the whole world had their opportunity. You've had your opportunity to hear this truth. You had your opportunity to do your research. You had your opportunity to do your research on who are the chosen people. Who is the Most High really dealing with? Who are the ones that the Most High is coming to redeem? And you thought you could just, oh, Kyrie's crazy, Kanye's crazy, these Hebrew Israelites, they're crazy. I'm just going to go ahead and enjoy my Thanksgiving. I'm going to go ahead and just enjoy my Christmas. I'm going to go ahead and just enjoy my New Year's. I'm going to go ahead and enjoy my bowl games. I'm going to enjoy my, run up to the NFL playoffs. But as you see, it's going to be very uncomfortable because all the things that you've been used to, being able to get away with, things you've used to being able to ignore, that's not going to be the case anymore. Now, we're going to get into some pretty heavy information. I think I got referred to this book by one of the other books that I read. And it just got in here maybe a little while ago. And I read a little bit, and I just wanted to share a little bit of this information with you right from jump. Because like I said, we got to understand that not only have we had our scriptures hidden from us, we've had the understanding, that goes along with these scriptures hidden from us. When I'm watching a lot of these history shows or ancient aliens and things like that, and these shows, these movies that they come up with, and I was watching that new Witcher one. Brother 432 The Drop did a video on it. You see all these all this information that we're talking about. The magic, the mages, and the stuff that they're talking about. It's all coming out. The things that we've been talking about, the connections that the Most High has been making with us, they're coming out with these movies and with these series, and you can start to see you got the esoteric, you got the exoteric version where everyone gets a chance to see it and they're just entertained, but you understand that there's an esoteric understanding with much of the information. We're going to jump into this book right here, The Secret Truth About Jesus, the Gospel, and the Zodiac, by Bill Darlison. Okay, so we're gonna be jumping into, like I said, we've got a few books we're gonna be jumping into, and got some more information we're gonna be jumping into, because the Most High has released us to start to get into this information and get into this understanding. Just from the cover right here, the Gospel of the Zodiac. Reverend Darlison demonstrates that the Gospel of Mark, considered the primary document of Christianity, is deliberately structured around the signs of the zodiac. Darlison argues that the gospel was originally an esoteric rather than historical text, and that its stories were never intended to be interpreted in a literal sense. Now, see, remember now we started talking about esoteric, and there are many people who are, supposedly in the truth, and the first thing they talked about, oh, esoteric, that's witchcraft, that's this, that's that's that. But then come to find out, quite possibly, the information that they've been, and it's in their Bible, is esoteric in nature. You see, it's not to be taken literal. And that's why you got to learn how, like the Most High said, you got to learn how to become like a child once again. You have to learn to take information that has been presented to you a certain way. It's been presented to you literally because that's how the Gentiles presented it to you. But ultimately, it was an esoteric information that probably wasn't even supposed to have been given to everyone in the first place, because it wasn't for everyone to get the understanding. And that goes back to, again, the information that I had in the last video talking about Peter and James and not sharing all the books, because once you know some of the information, if you don't have the correct perspective, you're going to understand it. You're going to understand it incorrectly. Okay, so it says rather they are dramatic representations of stages in spiritual development and repositories of arcane wisdom. This stunning argument shows how Christianity relates to other world faiths, and as such is deeply ecumenical. It aims to rediscover Christianity's dynamic character by interpreting the Gospels in the light of the culture in which they were created, rather than viewing them through the distorting lens of contemporary prejudices. It is a radical new interpretation of the Gospels. It makes an important contribution to the contemporary debate. Now, and that's the thing, like, when you start looking at this information, it's like, okay, hold on. When these books were written, who were they written to? What traditions do those people have? If the Bible was only given, if it's the history of one particular family, and it's also what's going to happen to them in the future, then we should know more about that family. But when they've gone through nothing but, they've gone out of their way to hide who the family is, hide their history, hide their culture, then there's no way you can really get a good understanding of their writings. And that would make sense because they didn't want you to understand anything about how the Israelites had esoteric understandings. They wanted that to be pagan or witchcraft. And therefore, you would never start to do any research on esoteric, because you would associate that with witchcraft, which makes sense, because if the church, the Catholic Church and Christian Church, wanted to present that to you in for literal understanding, then they're going to do everything in their power to demonize the spiritual understanding or the esoteric understanding, which is exactly what they've done. That's why, every person that looks like you ain't our people. That's why, when you start seeing people that are, have fought so hard to keep you away from esoteric understanding, esoteric information, that should easily let you know that they have an agenda. And they've had an agenda the whole time. Okay? So let's check this part out real fast. The Gospel in the Stars. In the 19th century, the works of J.S. Seiss enjoyed something of a vogue, okay, on both sides of the Atlantic. And his ideas are being represented by a number of modern writers. Seiss's basic thesis is that the zodiacal constellations and their decans, the non-zodiacal constellations that surround them, tell the Christian story of salvation. Now, the Christian story is that Christians, the original Christians, which would be the Israelites, they were the followers of the Most High, followers of Christ. Those would have been the Israelites, okay? So tell the Christian story of salvation, and that God placed them in the sky at the dawn of time as a witness to and a prefiguring of the gospel message. And like we said, our story has been written in the stars. And who has been the group that's always told us, don't look at the stars. The stars are evil. Don't look up there. That's always been the church. It's always been the church. And even some people, even in the Israelite community, have done the same thing. Okay? Because they followed what the church has told them to do. He further maintains that the interpretation of these signs has been the exclusive preserve of a superstitious and idolatrous astrology. And they've always tried to make it seem like it's superstitious, something to be scared of. Don't look at it. It's idolatry. Same thing. I think they've been doing this the whole time, right? And that pagan mythology has picked up but perverted the stories that the constellations were originally intended by God to tell. According to Seiss, the virginal conceptions, which abound in mythology, are corruptions of the one genuine virginal conception in history, that of Jesus. However, it is much more likely that the stories of heroes and ogres, gods and devils, trials and ordeals, which we find in both the Bible and pagan mythology, have a common origin in the Zodiac. And of course, right, that would make sense, right? That information would be coming from the Zodiac. But who had this information about the zodiac first? Who were these pagans? That would have been our people. Who was given, and it's up to debate who we got this information from and this understanding from. You know what I'm saying? The Most High gave it to Enoch. Most High, I'm sure maybe he gave it to Adam as well, and is told to pass it down to his posterity, right? Okay, so but that would mean you have to have an understanding of the zodiac, and we understand that the Gentiles did not have that understanding. Remember, they didn't have any of that understanding until they came over to the New World. Remember, the lands here, are set up for actually a better understanding, and a better opportunity to actually observe the zodiacs over here in the so-called New World, which was really the Old World. Okay, so again, which we find. Let me read that part again. However, it is much more likely that the stories of heroes and ogres, gods and devils, trials and ordeals, which we find in both the Bible and pagan mythology, have a common origin in the zodiac. The zodiac was the ancient picture book and storybook of the human race. And that's a great way to look at it, that the zodiac was the ancient picture book and storybook of the human race. The stories have already been written in the zodiacs, and these stories are up there where the other nations, okay, can't manipulate things. And since the story's already been written, and the Gentiles down here and the heathen have been wanting to write their own story, they wanted to, so they would hide. They want to hide the original story. They want to hide all the original information. Okay, so then they would discourage us from looking in the stars, discourage us from looking in the zodiacs. Okay, because that story doesn't go along with the story that they want to tell. So now it's starting to make much more sense as to why they have made it a point to keep us from learning about the zodiac. The zodiacs makes us learning about this information, making us really get in depth and making actually just making a better connection. But I think that's actually a great way to look at it. That the zodiac was the ancient picture book and storybook of the human race. The shapes perceived, okay, there are not the products of arbitrary dot joining, but represent universal and archetypal symbols of human spiritual awareness, which have over millennia issued in both mythological and religious forms of expression. So the story of Perseus is not a corruption of the story of Christ's victory over evil, as Seiss supposed. It is just another expression of the universal longing for redemption, which lies behind the Christian myth, too. The Zodiac inspired the myth of the 12 labors of Hercules, which concerns the soul's journey of liberation. And this same literary impulse, translated into Jewish categories, has given us Mark's Gospel. The Gospel provides us with abundant clues that this is the author's purpose, and I hope to be able to point these out as we proceed. Okay. Seiss's work relies heavily on the theories of Frances Rolleston, which were published in 1863 in her book Mazzaroth. Rolleston investigated the meaning of the various star names like Sirius, Rigel, Tigmine, which have come down to us from antiquity. And Seiss finds that some of these names, when translated into modern languages, can be related to the gospel story. What Seiss was not aware of is that sometimes these names reflect the astonishing accuracy, the principal incidents of Mark's gospel. For example, the feeding of the 5,000 and the feeding of the 4,000 occur in what I have called the Cancer section of the gospel. And the constellation Cancer is a star called Ma'alaf, whose name means assembled thousands. And in Ursa Major, one of the decans of Cancer, we find the star Thad, which is said to mean numbered. There are a good many correspondences of this type, which we will point out in our analysis of the individual zodiacal sections. It could well be that Mark has chosen to weave the names of the principal stars into his text as an added testimony to its zodiacal structure. And we're going to stop on that right there. Okay? And we'll get into this some more. I just wanted to share this information because, like I said, very important. It explains, why the Psalms 83 group has come together and worked so hard to keep us from reading, keep books away from us, keep our history away from us, tell us that we're nothing, we're nobodies, we're just a color, we're just black people. That's it. But now the Most High has given us back our knowledge and understanding once again. And like I said, as we rise, the rest of the other nations fall. And they are even our own people who have made covenants with them are falling as well. That's all part, of this transition. And it's just amazing to see how, you're going to have to really be open to following the Most High, no matter where it is He's going to take you. And, the information, the scriptures, I know there's a lot of esoteric understanding, but like I said, there's things that I need to learn, I need to be open to, and I need to continue to grow, just like all of us need to continue to grow. But I wanted to share this with you and just let you know there's going to be more coming, Most High willing, in order to get you more understanding and open your eyes to start to search, different books and start to look at them esoterically and look at the esoteric understanding and the spiritual understanding of many of these things, and to understand it's not just a one way road for understanding and getting understanding of what things mean, you know. Um, and that's all we've been taught, that there's only one way. My camp's got all the breakdowns. My congregation, my pastor has all the breakdowns. He has a correct breakdown for this and a correct breakdown for that. But yeah, if you look at everything literally, maybe you have a breakdown that might fit, okay, but you got to understand that there's esoteric understandings with these gospels as well. They have much deeper understanding that is not so easily understood. And that's why, you got to spend a lot more time in prayer, spend a lot more time with the Most High, with the Holy Spirit, with the angels, and ask for understanding. Going to have to definitely, make changes, in order to, if we want certain things, we have to give up certain things for the Most High. You know, if we have to go out and fast, in order to get, closer to the Most High, in order to get more understanding, we have to be willing to sacrifice things that, for our comfort, in order to get closer to the Father, closer to the Mother, in order to get more understanding. Those are things that I've had to learn, and I'm sure that we all have to work on, and have to improve. But thank you, Most High. I pray that this was what you wanted me to share. I pray that this gets more people, on that path in order to start to look at the scriptures esoterically and start to look at the deeper aspects and the deeper things of the Most High, and leave the understanding, the literal understanding, the exoteric understanding of the Gentiles behind. Because, like I said, every day you're starting to realize more and more that they're being exposed. They have been exposed. They have no understanding. That's why the Most High has given us this understanding about the inner earth. I'm seeing so many videos talking about Antarctica. I'm seeing so many pictures showing that hole, in the opening, and the top part or the bottom part of the earth, and being able to go into the hollow earth. Starting to see all this information, coming out about, what's inside the earth, the lands inside the earth, the people inside the earth. I saw a great video talking about what was it? Let me see if I can find it because I actually copied it. Hold on real fast. There was a great TikTok video. Hold on here. Let me see if I can play it here. Hold on. Well, it's crazy. I am seeing other people actually talking about. I saw some people were having a debate, and they totally talked about paganism and how we're all pagans, and this is not. I'm like things that I have been talking about. And it's kind of these topics are kind of popping up on other people's channels and stuff like that. And like, yeah, kind of funny how things are just kind of popping up everywhere. I said, but that's the spirit though. The spirit is working. Spirit's got everything working right now. Okay, hold on. Okay, here it is. Okay, hold on. Let me go back. Okay, this is from Night God, NIGHTGOD 333. Okay, talk about hollow earth and hollow earth beings. You can just listen to it. So let me just turn it up. Hopefully it's loud enough. Here we go.
Inside the hollow earth, been living there for 2,500 years. There is one continent inside the earth and one ocean. Their capital city is built around the original lost Garden of Eden. The vegetation grows like a paradise. The people live to be up to 800 years old. They communicate with telepathy. The inner earth people have built these androids that fly their flying saucers out to reconnoiter the outer earth. Our government has been knocking flying saucers out of the sky and back engineering these flying saucers. The people that live in the hollow earth are not extraterrestrials. They're from the lost tribes of Israel.
Talk about how the people who live in the hollow earth are not aliens, but they're actually from the lost tribes of Israel. Now, like I said, it's just crazy because and again, that's he has a YouTube channel. I've subscribed to him. Night hashtag, it was Night NIGHTGOD 333. It's one of his shorts. That's a good video, a good little video. But it's just like, hey, we understand now that when the Spaniards came over here, they were chasing after uh, the Aborigines, and they went into these caverns. They went in. They got their gold, and they got out, and they were hiding. We know that those people were the lost tribes of Israel. We start reading other books, and it talks about how they had other alien technology or alien people that came in and helped them set up lands in the hollow earth. I said, so there's all this information. Like I said, it's all of a sudden it's just coming out, and it's absolutely amazing to see how the Most High is working to get all this information out right now. But I pray, like I said, that this video opens up some eyes and gets people studying and gets people looking, and just know like, hey, the Most High is going to take us to some wonderful places. We just got to continue to trust Him, and know that He's in absolute charge of absolutely everything. All praise is the Most High Yahweh. Acknowledgement to the earthly mother. Who is wisdom? Who is Holy Spirit? Acknowledgement to Yahweh Shai. Shalom, family.